Okay, so what I've done with AntConc is I uploaded, actually I'll show you guys how I uploaded it, because that's the first thing I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is let me clear this, clear all tools and files. Okay, so here I have AntConc just empty, right? And then you guys have access to the L1 English 400 files and the L1 Japanese 400 files. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna upload all of them together, and we can take a look at all 800 files. So I have those ready to go. And you can just watch what I do. You don't have to upload yet. What we'll do first is I'll upload the 800. We'll pick some language features we want to compare, and then you guys can upload the English ones and then get the info, and then upload the Japanese ones and get the info, and then run the comparisons. But for the first step one up there, it says choose phrase frames. I always like to use the whole corpus when I choose the linguistic features, and then when I analyze the linguistic features, I'll analyze by subcorpus. So to upload the corpus, I have to have the files on my computer, and I choose File, and then I choose Open Files as Quick Corpus. And then you navigate to where you have the files. So here I have the 400 English ones. Down here I have the Japanese ones, and then here I just have all 800. And here's where it's a little bit weird. So you just have to Control A, and then you select all the files. So I have all 800 selected inside the folder, and then I click Open, and then it will upload all of those files to the tool. Okay, so I'm not selecting a folder. I'm going into the folder, selecting all of the files with Control A on a PC, and then it loads them up, and it gives this, and it says it's been uploaded. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, something broke and it didn't work. But that's just telling you that they're all uploaded. So now over here, I can see all the files are uploaded. Here's the names of all the files. They're in the AntConc tool. And I can see up here that I have 800 files right up here. Total tokens, that means the total number of words, looks like about 180,000 words. Okay, so a small corpus. Okay, so now I'm ready to start using AntConc to analyze. Inside this corpus, what do you guys think will be the most frequent word? Which word will be the most frequent word in this corpus? What would you guess? Lawrence, what do you think is the most frequent word? Is. That's very good one. Very good guess. Very good guess. Likely wrong, but very good guess. Sally, what do you think is the most frequent word?
Maybe
The? That's a very good guess. Probably right. If this was just like a regular corpus, that would probably be the most frequent word in the English language. Very good. Very good. Very good. So let's take a look here. This corpus is a little bit different because remember we had those prompts about smoking, and then we had prompts about part-time jobs. And here we're also looking at a mixture of L1 English and L1 Japanese English essays, right? So if I click the most frequent word here, what I get might be different from what I would get if I were only looking at the L1 English files. Okay, so if I go, I'm just going to go to this word thing here. I'm just going to click Start. And okay, here, so this is what it gave me. So here we got the most frequent word in this corpus, which is not representative of the English language in general, is to. Just a little bit more than the or a. If you opened up just the L1 English files, somebody want to do that? Do you guys have it? Open up just the L1 English files and then do the same thing. See if, do we get something different? Same, to the and. And this one is to the and. So here we can already tell that the L1 Japanese are using the word a couple different words more frequently that are bringing them up, the overall numbers. But if you look at the top 10, pretty much the same, right? To, the, and, that, I, of. So here we see the most frequent words. We have words like in, of, the, to. What's the name of those? What are those types of words called, Mary? The, to, of, articles?
No.
To.
Function word.
Very good, function words. That is the correct term. Very good. Those are function words, yes. They don't have much semantic meaning, but they add to the texture and cohesion of. So what do you guys think will be the most frequent 4-word lexical bundles? On the other hand, that could be one. We're talking about smoking and part-time jobs. Part-time job in university, right? That might be something like that. Will come up a lot, possibly. Well, let's see. Let's hit start and see what happens. Oh, there's only 6 that occur at least 200 times. That's crazy. That really reduced the number. Number 1, a part-time job. Number 2, have a part-time. Number 3, to have a part. Number 4, at all the restaurants. 5, for college students too. And 6, important for college students. Okay, so there we go. Number 1, do you think that comes from the texts that are about a part-time job or the texts that are about smoking being banned in restaurants? Very good. Perfect score. Okay, so we can already see some interesting things happening, something that might be problematic. Okay, so number 1 and 2, a part-time job, have a part-time. Probably, there's a lot of overlap between those two. Probably a bunch of those go back to have a part-time job, right? So, if you're a corpus linguist, you have to think to yourself, if I count a part-time job and I count have a part-time, that's actually a bunch of that is the 5-word lexical bundle, have a part-time job. So if you count those 2, you're double counting a part-time, right? Because a lot of that part-time happens in lexical bundle number 2, and a lot of it happens in lexical bundle number 1. And a lot of it's going to happen in lexical bundle number 3. So you have to decide, do I want to allow for that overlap? If I do allow for it, I should say that. Be very transparent and say I'm counting these 2 times, right? Or you could have some principled approach. For example, if more than 80% of a part-time job comes from have a part-time job, then I'll just put them together and count them as one 5-word lexical bundle, and I'll drop 20% of the remainder. Okay, so you could do that too. So you have to make your decision. You can read other studies on lexical bundles, see what other people do, decide which approach you think makes the most sense, have your reason for your decision, state your reason, and then just go forward with that. Okay, I'm going to lower the frequency down to 100 and see what we get. It is important for, that's a good one. I think it is, there's a good one. So now we can start to figure out which lexical bundles are prompt dependent and which lexical bundles are not prompt dependent. Okay? So we'll know that having a part-time and a part-time job are happening so frequently because of the prompts, but something like I think it is and it is important for, those are lexical bundles that will show up in argumentative essays in general, right? Not necessarily simply because this is about a part-time job or smoking, right? So think that it is important, I think it is important for, right? All those types of things. Okay, good. So those are lexical bundles. Now let's move on to phrase frames. And we'll choose some phrase frames that we want to run some analyses on, to run some comparisons with. So to choose some phrase frames, I'm going to be here at this engram, and I'm going to click Open Slots 1. I just clicked one open slot. So now we'll have that like it is blank 2, right? Or something like that. And let's put these back up to 200. Because we're going to get more phrase frames than lexical bundles because of the variability. Let's choose 3 phrase frames to study, to do some analysis of today. And let's have at least 2, we'll choose 3 phrase frames. Let's choose 3. And then at least 2 should be not prompt dependent. Okay, so there, Gary, which one do you guys want? Number 7? Yes? Okay. Perfect. It is blank 4. This will be 1. It is, I'm going to use the plus sign to represent the variable slot. It is blank 4. Okay, very good. Semicolon. Oh, it is blank 4. Okay, group back there. All the blank in. Nice. Very interesting. Cool. Okay. And I'll choose one. Sally, earlier you said, what was the most frequent word that you said? The, right? Okay. So, the. That's the first word of the most frequent phrase frame.
The blank of the blank?
Very good. It would just be the blank of the, yeah. Good.
Oh, yeah.
The blank of the. Because the definition of a phrase frame will be a lexical bundle with an internal variable slot. Yeah, the blank of the. That is usually the most frequent phrase frame. Here in this one, that's way down at 48 though. That's interesting. I'll do that one then. We'll study that one and see what the differences are. Okay. So what we'll do now then is I would like to let's upload each corpus. Let's search up these first in the English corpus. We'll get their frequencies. And then we'll search them up in the Japanese corpus and we'll get their frequencies. But what do you guys think before we search it up? It is blank 4, all the blank in, and the blank of the. Which corpus do you think these phrase strings will be more frequent in? Let's make our hypotheses. Number 1, it is blank 4. Do you think the L1 Japanese speakers use it more, or do you think the L1 English speakers use it more? Japanese? English? Okay. So we're going to guess that the English use that one more. All blank in. Roy? English use it more. And Ruby, the blank of that.
English.
English. So you think the English, the L1 English speakers use all of these more than the L1 Japanese? It's good guesses. Very good, very good. Which of those phrase frames do you guys think that the Japanese might use more? The blank of that? You think the Japanese? The blank of the blank? All right. Mary, what do you think, if you're going to extrapolate this phrase frame to put one word in front of here, which word comes to mind that you think would be up in front of there most often?
4.
Very, very good guess. Anything else? That's correct. That's one of the top ones for sure.
In.
Very good. That's also one of them. Yeah, 4 and in. Yep. Of is also in there too, right? And prepositions, right? Any preposition is there. But yeah, 4, in, of. Excellent. Okay, so let's load up the English one. We go in here to File, Open Files as Quick Corpus. I'll jump into ENS, select them all, open them up. Okay, you guys go ahead and please load up the English one. And I'll search the blank of the. Gary and Larry, you guys can search it is blank for. And then the group in the back can search all the blank in. So here's how I do it. This is how you're going to do it. You go like this. You type in your keywords, type in a plus sign, type in of the, like that, but then you do your own. So I search mine. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I forgot. You got to go to the quick thing over here, up here on top. So this is how you search individual ones. You go up to quick, KWIC up here on top. You type in your phrase frame. So for me, the plus sign of the, and then I hit start, and then it works. But that's up here in the quick tab. Okay, before I was in the ngram tab just to find find some phrase frames. Now I'm looking up specific ones and I see I'm in the quick tab. So you guys will go to the quick tab, go up there to quick, way up there, and then down here you enter your phrase frame with a plus sign as the variable slot, and then you hit start. Now, with the blank of the, looking at mine, how many instances of it are in, can you guys see how many times it occurs in the English one? In the English corpus? 66 times, right? 66. So it says here, 1 to 66 of 66 hits, okay? And the most frequent words that occur in the variable slot are rest, fact. Okay, so for ENS we have 66 for the blank of the, and it looks like our most frequent fillers are rest, fact. Let's see what else is in there. Health, end, taste, health, end, taste. Good. Very good. That's good. So the rest of the fact of the end of the taste of the majority of the part of the beginning of the. Very good. And then it comes all just kind of individual ones. Okay? So there we go. And good. So Gary and Larry, what did you guys get with it is blank for? How many times did the ENS people use that? 56. Okay. And what are the most frequent fillers? Important. Anything else?
Good.
Good. Mm-hmm. Maybe one more?
Appropriate.
Appropriate. That's a great one. Appropriate. Very good. Appropriate. Excellent. Excellent. And then back there, Sally, what did you guys get for the L1 English speakers of all the blank in? How many times did they use that?
29.
29. 29. It's very few. Okay. And then what were some of the fillers that they used?
All the restaurants.
Restaurants.
Restaurant.
Okay, that's a lot of them. And what comes next after restaurants?
All the things in.
All the things. And what comes after that?
No.
Nothing? Just those two?
Yes. It's true.
Oh, wow. So restaurant and things. All the restaurants and things. Okay, so based on this, we can see that this phrase frame, all the blank in, is much less variable. It's much more fixed. There's only a couple different fillers in that. Meanwhile, the blank of the has a wider variety of fillers that can occupy the variable slot. And it also looks like it is blank for has a wider variety of fillers. It's a more variable phrase frame. Okay, good. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to drop the English corpus and I want to upload the Japanese corpus so we can search the same phrase frames in the Japanese corpus and see how they differ. So to do this, I can go to File, and then I can clear all tools and files. And I'll just select that, and then everything disappears. Now I go to File, Open Files as Quick Corpus, and I'll just just go over to the Japanese folder, select them all, and do it over. Okay, very good. 57 hits. And some of the okay. Now if I look at these, the blank of that, first it happens a little more frequently in the L1 English. It happens 66 times versus 57. Okay, so frequency is different a little bit, and not hugely different. But what's more interesting to me is the fillers that are used. On the English side, they're using the rest of the fact of the health of the end of the taste of the. On the Japanese side, they're using the smell of the number of the profit of the benefit of the health of the danger of the. Smell and taste are kind of similar, so I like to see the smell of the taste of the. Smell and taste are connected, so that's good. But it's interesting the difference in the fillers that they're using. Okay, how about all the blank in? Ruby, what was the frequency of all the blank in for the Japanese L1?
162.
Whoa! That's crazy difference in the number there. 162. That is crazy. Okay, okay, good. And what were some of the fillers?
Only all the restaurants eat.
All the rest. So just one. So that's not even a phrase frame then. That's just a lexical bundle. That's not even a phrase frame. Okay, good. Well, that's a very fixed, very fixed phrase frame, right? Even with on the English side. Okay, good. And Roy and Lawrence, aka Gary and Larry. Don't know who's Gary and who's Larry, but what was the number you guys got for it is blank for?
187.
187. That is crazy too. They're using it like triple. And what were some of the fillers?
Important, bad, and good.
Important, bad, and good. So there are some very important words. There we go. Important, bad, and good. What we'll do, we have the numbers that we need to fill in what's called a contingency table. So it is blank for, Lawrence, how many do the Japanese have? 187. And then all the blank in. Mary, how many did the Japanese have?
162.
162. Okay, so now we have all the information we need here. to run a log likelihood test. Because we know that the total corpus size is down here. So with the English, L1 English, they have 90,000 words. L1 Japanese, they have 89,000 words. And we know the frequency. So now we can conduct what's called a log likelihood test. A log likelihood test is a non-parametric statistical test to see if there is a statistically significant difference in the frequency. Okay? So if I'm going to do that, how do I do that? I will, well, actually I think I have a slide for this. I can show you guys a slide. You guys can do this too. Calculate log likelihood. So all you have to do is go on Google and search Racine log likelihood. The guy's name who built this tool is named Racine. What we do, once you got that pulled up, is you're going to use these numbers, 9613 and 89401. These numbers will go into the log likelihood calculator. So corpus 1 is 9613, right? 9613, so I'll go down here, 9613. And corpus 2 was what, 89401? Yep, 89401. So I'll put 89401 here. And then frequency of the word, we'll use frequency of the phrase frame. So how about we check out, we'll go down the list. We'll start with the blank of the, so 66 and 57. So we'll put in 66 and 57. Then we hit calculate. And the log likelihood score is 0.54. 0.54. So that means it is not, there's not a statistically significant difference. So it's about the same, no big deal. Nothing big happening there. Okay? Here's the critical values. So that log likelihood value, if it's 3.84 or more, that means it's a statistically significant difference, right? That P is less than 0.05. If that log likelihood value is 6.63, then it means it's more. Well, it's not actually more, but it's statistically significant if you set your p-value at 0.01, if you have 99% confidence. Okay, so that was the first one. So the first one, we have no difference. Let's look at our second one. It is blank for 56 and 187. We can already guess that there's going to be a statistically significant difference here. 56 and 187. Let's do 56. Let's do 187. Calculate. Our LL value is 76.29. 76.29. If we go back and check their guidance, we can see that that is in the 99.99 percentile of statistical significance. That p-value is very small. Okay, so there we go with that one. Let's look at it one more time. Log likelihood value here, the LL. Okay, very good. And then let's check our last one. So we know with this one here, that this is a difference. And my guess is here, this one's going to also be a different one. Oh, I forgot to write down the log likelihood score. And that was something super small. This one was 76.29. And then the last one, 29 versus 162. Mm-hmm. 103.9. Okay, so we can pop that in. 103.90. Very good. So there we have it. The Japanese use the phrase frames "it is blank for" and "all the blank in" statistically more frequently than the L1 English speakers. So some people who do research in learner corpus studies, might say that the Japanese overuse these phrase frames. They use them too much. Why do they use them too much? Because the L1 speakers use them less. Okay? So some people will say that. Other people will say, why do you have to call it overuse? Because they choose to use that phrase frame, or they choose to use that sequence of words. Why is using it a lot bad? Overuse implies that it's something negative. Maybe this is how they want to speak. Maybe this is how they want to write. Right? So if we call it overuse or underuse or good or bad or whatever, that's up to you. But the fact of the matter is they are using it quite a bit more than an L1 speaker of the language would use it. Okay? So that's good. Good stuff. Now, can you guys calculate, what was one more I want to do? One more phrase frame that I wanted to do. How about "it is blank to"? I kind of want to add "it is blank to." Can you guys please, how about Gary and Larry? You guys, can you calculate the numbers for "it is blank to" in the English corpus? And then you guys back there, can you calculate it for the Japanese corpus, please? Easy. That's done with the log likelihood calculator. We did that. That's good. We see that we only have two significant differences between these right there. Okay, so that's how a lot of people do frequency analysis in their corpus study. That's super simple. So if you were to do a learner corpus study and you wanted to use this as a way to compare frequencies, that'd be good. That would probably just be one step in a deeper study. And then you would do something where you're kind of doing a more qualitative analysis of the fillers to see how they're using these phrase frames, what words are being used. Do the words that fill that phrase frame, are they semantically coherent? Is there like a group of words that kind of go well together? So for example, the blank of that, we see on the L1 speaker side, the rest, the health, the taste, the end, the fact. And then on the other side, we see more about numbers and profits that we don't see. So that would be an interesting distinction between them. But main point is, if we want to get some sort of statistical significance check, we can do that with log likelihood. Super easy to do, and a lot of people use this because it's super easy.